All right, so you had you'd reach out to me and you're like, "Hey man, what do you think about this video?" And I was like, I was gonna watch it because it's only 10 minutes, and then I was like, you know what, fuck it, it's like let's talk about it sometime. And I was like, I figured it'd be more fun or interesting just to kind of get the reaction to the video live and just like while you're here, give some pointers on, maybe like how you made the video or what the arguments are in the video, and then give you like, especially if there's like parts of the video that like I'm like, ooh, that's wrong, and then you can be like, I didn't mean it like that. I meant it like this or whatever. So I think it should be like a fun thing for everyone not knowing. Can I post shit in? Let's see if I can post because you guys can't post links. Can I fucking post links? Okay, I can post links. Has everyone else seen the links that
By
I
the
just
way,
posted?
yep. What do you want me to switch more lights on, or this like low light
It's fine, brother.
environment good?
You're not like a streamer right now, so it's not like super expected that you do you just want to go into this raw? I have no idea what this is about other than it showed Charlie Kirk
Yeah.
in the thumb title and said, "This is the solution to political violence." All right, let me give my initial thought. What is the solution to political violence? To abolish the presumed monopoly on violence. There you go. There's the solution.
I mean,
it's going to take a while.
That's fun. Yeah.
But in one sentence, that is the solution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's fucking go, dude. Holy crap, Luca, you look like a Baki character. You kind of do, dude. You kind of do, man. That's a compliment. It should pop up.
I see it.
Okay, cool.
I briefly also saw my. This was nice.
What's that? You're a little hard to understand. The microphone quality is a little rough.
Yep. This is the cheapest microphone I could buy.
The cheapest microphone you could buy? Dude, hold on. Before we even get into this, my mom calls me, right? Like when she leaves for work, and she's like, I'm like, Mom, I can't understand you. Can you get off of the headset? And she's like, everything I buy, the technology, it's just not that good, blah, 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 like nothing. She's like, I fuck it all up. I'm like, Mom, you have an iPhone and you buy knockoff fucking gas station Bluetooth headset. And then a month later, it doesn't work. And you're like blaming your aura or something for fucking up technology when it's just like, no, Mom, you're just buying cheap shit and cheap shit doesn't work.
Yeah, basically.
The American dream.
I'm saving up for a better one, though.
Someone said the American dream is to buy a house in Japan, and I've never agreed with the statement more. It kind of is.
Have you seen Japanese taxes though? Like there's a friend of mine from college who's moving to Japan for some tech work, and like the taxes are like brutal, you know.
The taxes are basically brutal. As much as we are taxed a majority of our wealth and income here in the United States, most first world countries, almost everywhere, the taxes are astronomically worse than they are here.
Yep. I mean, there's some elements of like the old American system left over, like just in the population, right? Like the US population is just overall more libertarian than everywhere else.
Yeah, even our socialist Democrats are like, half of them are not progressive enough to want like socialized medicine or anything. But anyways, let's get into this and let's see what your arguments are.
We live in a world where political violence is becoming more prevalent, like the recent assassination of Charlie.
Pause. If you're going to make videos on the internet and you're going to record yourself, get a better microphone. 80 is something I learned with streaming, especially when people hop into a stream or they watch a video. The first thing that will make people leave is poor audio. So like spending all this time on video editing and like making your video look pretty, none of that matters if you have poor audio. Because a lot of people, they don't even care what's on the screen, right? Like they're gonna play it in their car while they're like driving to work or something, right? Like a lot of people don't even give a fuck what's on the screen. It is better to have nothing on the screen with good audio than to have a really well edited video with poor audio. Just throwing that out there.
A world where political violence is becoming more prevalent, like the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk. We also see increasingly divided and radicalizing trends in politics. Moderate politics is increasingly becoming more and more a thing of the past, and the supporters of all political movements are demanding more radical positions from their representatives.
I don't know how I feel about... I feel that you're speaking to the normies, and I kind of like that. But the libertarian objectivist in me is so triggered by the concept of like moderate positions. It's like, it's not a moderate position that you steal half of my wealth so that you can bomb people in other countries. Like, to me, that, like, it's only moderate in the sense of what the normies view the Overton window as, you know? But I get where you're going.
But
Now,
there's also the aesthetic of moderation, right? Like there's the, like, oh, but we're being reasonable here. Like that's quickly fading in favor of, let's say, more, radical aesthetics.
Yeah, I saw this thing from Kamala Harris being like, we need to lower the voting age to 16, right? And it's funny to me because, set aside all of the arguments of why that's stupid, right? Even from like a pragmatic perspective of like, set aside the argument of like the concept of rights and, an 18-year-old can die in war, but they can, but like, and like, but all these other things, like what is an adult, or any of that stuff, right? Like I get their arguments for critical engagement and all this, but what I find the most funny about Democrats shilling for like lowering the voting age to 16 is that they're so in their isolated echo chamber, their gated communities, their ivory tower, that they think if they lower the voting age to 16, what they're going to get is more political power for the liberal elite. And it's so obvious to me, having engaged with politically aware 16-year-olds, that what you're going to get is females voting for Zohran Mamdani and communists that are going to be against the liberal elite, and you're going to get males that are voting for Nick Fuentes and like out and about fascists. It's like you're not, like, the liberal Democrats are not going to gain fucking power if you let 16 and 17-year-olds vote. Okay, like you're gonna be replaced by communists, and the right is gonna be more quote unquote far right. It's just such a dumb idea, but I find it so funny that they don't know that.
And actually, that's what I'm referring to as like further radicalization here, in the sense that like you don't see like the milquetoast liberal, milquetoast conservative politics of old nowadays. Like people, like especially young people, they're moving further and further. Like either to like they're move, for example, classical liberalism is slow. Like it's not really a thing anymore. Like in the sense that like most people who used to call themselves classical liberals are ANCAPs now, right? So
right. Like even in our own movement, we've seen classical liberals, right? And what they have done is they've reframed themselves as classical liberals, and of that small group that is offshot, I guess, would be the right. I don't know how to say that. From the libertarian movement, they've separated themselves from the libertarian movement and become, supposedly pro-capitalist Democrats, right? Which is like such an oxymoron. And everybody else that is like keeping the moniker of libertarian is going objectivist and ANCAP. They're, or maybe they're blending Groyper shit in this weird, retarded, contradictory shit where they're like racist monarchists, right? But all of them have gone more radical in some way.
Yep, and that's the thing. Like you can't stay there. Like back in the day when classical liberalism used to be the radical thing, like that, like there's a very different thing. Someone who used to be a classical liberal pre Rothbard and Rand versus someone who is now. Like back then, they were as radical as they could get. Right now, they're just being sissies. Well,
I think there is this really interesting section of mostly grifters, right? Like kind of like the not so erudites of the world, right? Where they're still hanging, they're pretending to hang on to the center, right? But everything that they do is an excuse for the left and for going further left. So even the people that are pretending to be centrists are just excusing it. You still see a little bit of it on the right, right? Like you still see a little bit of like Steven Crowders or people like that, right? But all they're doing is just kind of they're grifting as like trying to be reasonable as they suck MAGA's dick, which is MAGA is becoming the moderate position, and it's moderate in the sense that it's becoming more socialist and populist. It's not moderate because it's like a blend of the center to try and get people to speak together. It's moderate in that they're just moving to the left economically because they're willing to play all the same economic games that the left has been playing for 30 or 40 years. And instead of being the Republicans that were like, okay, let's lower taxes, let's calm down, they're like, let's fucking do tariffs and let's fucking get rid of all the Browns, right? Like they're not actually, they're becoming more radical in their movement towards the left, and they're pretending to be moderate, but every single where that we see, there is no moderate position. Even the ones that kind of look moderate, once you really dig into it, you realize that they're just becoming more socialist, more willing to use power, and more willing to kind of fire up for their base. Reactionary national socialism.
And the pressure is coming from the base.
The pressure is coming from both.
The pressure is coming from the base. Right? Like I'm saying, the pressure is coming from the base of their power. Like it's not like they want. Like a lot of these politicians don't want to become radicals, but if they don't, they don't get elected anymore. In the sense that like the old reasonable Republican types, they just are getting voted out for the Trump people, right? Like they just don't exist anymore. And like even like Rand Paul was the most radical person in 2012. Like when he got elected, like now Rand Paul is being lambasted as this like a
leftist
Democrat or something. Like
exactly. You see JD Vance talking shit on like Thomas Massey is like he's not with us on anything important. He votes with the Democrats every time, and it's like, well, his voting record shows that he votes with the right wing 90% of the time. He just doesn't vote for more spending or for foreign aid.
Yep.
And this, you see the same thing with the grifters in the center, right? Like Steven Crowder. He did a fucking like barbershop video talking to black people about black fatigue. And it's like, dude, it's so obvious that you are captured by your audience. This isn't you. This is just what you are, is just whatever gets you clicks and views. Like you're just a fucking, like any other politician, you're just a slimy, amorphous, whatever I think will continue to get me money and views. As much as like I hard disagree with people like Andrew Wilson, for example, or Jim Bob or Jay Dyer, I hate, like I have a genuine ire for Jay Dyer, and in many ways Jim Bob, that I don't really necessarily have for Andrew. I respect at the very least that they're doing what they think is right. You know what I mean? Like they're fighting for what it is that they believe, right? You know, like I hate the pretend centrists as we shift towards radicalism even more, because you're watching them become radical just to follow where the money is.
Yeah.
All right, I'll continue.
Exactly.
We got into the weeds 20 seconds in. No, I'll let you have it's your content. I'll let you say the final word before we go, but
I was just simply saying that, the politicians, like they're just the temperature of like what people actually want and feel, right? So like someone like JD Vance wouldn't have been like considered a Republican, let's say 20 years ago, but now he is the vice president. So like something has changed within the party, right? Like, and like my hypothesis is simply that, like the left wing became basically like identitarians for everyone except white people. So the right wing was like, yeah, we'll take up the vacuum. We'll become identitarians for the white people. And so like, who's left over? Like individualists are left over. People who are not in any like collective, like who don't subscribe to this collectivism, right? So like,
yeah, I mean, I kind of view it as like a Lord of the Rings analogy, right? And it's like the right wing has gained control of the Ring of Power, but they refuse to throw it into the fires of Mount Doom. It's like, okay, well, they're the steward of Gondor, saying this ring must come to us. We have like, this power has been used against us for so long, and we're losing this battle. This power needs to come to us, instead of realizing that like that power being able to be used against people is the problem itself, and that you don't solve it by taking the Ring of Power. You just become corrupted by it, make everything worse.
And now when like the right wing bubble pops and the left wing is ascendant again, like hell's coming the other way then. And like then you kill each other all the time, like basically 4 years of lefties killing righties killing lefties, and like yeah.
Sorry.
the
Slope
like
in chat says Jay Dyer, quote, "We are the Jews now." Like that's such a layered anti-Semitic joke, but it's so fucking funny. So you guys wonder why I keep trolls in chat, because they say shit that's so good. You need them. You can't make an echo chamber, guys.
Intelligence to make that joke.
What's that?
Yeah, it takes intelligence to make.
Yeah, like you have to be you have to be smart and retarded at the same time to get that joke. Oh fuck, that's beautiful. All right, I'm gonna play this video, man.
From their representatives. Now, you would ask yourselves naturally, why is all this happening? Why does it seem that the world is getting crazier and crazier as time passes? Well, today we will learn about the answer to that very important question. And the answer is to be found in a theory called the dim hypothesis, given by the philosopher Leonard Peikoff.
Okay.
DIM is an acronym which stands for disintegration, integration, misintegration. And no, I'm not talking about mathematics here. Integration, as Leonard Peikoff uses it, refers to an active process that a human mind partakes in to make sense of a whole set of facts that it is presented with on a daily basis. It is the putting together of those facts, integrating them into a coherent whole through a process of abstraction. In philosophy, then, there can be three positions or modes of integration. One, disintegration.
Yeah, this is a I like this. I like where you're going with this for the normie, right? To explain this position. Yeah, I think this is a good idea. I'm just going to keep going though.
Disintegration is the refusal to connect facts into any meaningful whole. It is the collapse into.
What's that?
If you just pause for just a minute. Pause for just a minute and start from 10 seconds ago. But my purpose with this is basically to get the unsuspecting person into our kind of philosophy. So, that's the kind of videos I'll make. I'll make this video has nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is just an example. Right? I posted it when she.
Yeah, no, I mean it's
a philosophy video.
Yeah, it's just a video on what is that is. We do a little trolling here, bro. What the fuck am I looking at? What do you you got to be a little more specific, man. All right, let's go.
In philosophy, then, there can be three positions or modes of integration. One, disintegration. Disintegration is the refusal to connect facts into any meaningful whole. It is the collapse into a chaos of unrelated concretes. This is the mindset of skepticism, nihilism, and postmodernism. The philosopher best representative of this mode of thinking is Immanuel Kant. Number
you got to get in you got to shit on Immanuel Kant. It's not a true objectivist video unless at some point you're like, and don't forget, we fucking hate Kant. There's I don't think I've ever seen a single objectivist video that doesn't have a diss at Immanuel Kant or at a minimum, right? Special shout out to, and this is why Hegel is full of shit. Hegel's number 2 though, right? Because the ire and hatred has to be Kant, okay? But every now and then you'll see, you won't see a Kant, you'll see Hegel, specifically if they're talking about dialectics, right? If the video is not about dialectical thinking, right? They have to throw in by the way, Kant is a piece of shit. But yeah, I mean, so this is, to put it in simpler terms, maybe, right? This is the thought, disintegration the maintenance of disintegration. Disintegration is healthy, right? I think disintegration can be healthy, or is a natural part of thinking. When you come into contact with cognitive dissonance, right? To put it in a term people would more commonly be aware of, right? It's the problem is when you have a philosophy that maintains contradiction as true. Right, that's where you get into postmodernism. That's where you get into Hegelianism, or Kantianism, where we begin to we get. Oh, go ahead. Right, but yeah.
So, in that sense, also, disintegration can be true on some. Let's say, if you have a problem, if you encounter a bad concept, you should disintegrate that. But
Mhm.
What Kant did basically in his philosophy was like in essence he had two things. He critiqued pure reason, so like and applied reason. So basically he said that hey, the thing that you do in your mind, like pure reason, and the thing that you do in reality, experiment, applied reason, yeah, they're both full of shit. So like after Kant, basically you have philosophy and science and everything, which is just blind, right? Like you can't trust your senses and you can't trust your mind. So what do you trust? You can't trust anything. So over time, then you basically open the door to these bad actors and shitty philosophies, like Hegel, Marx, Foucault, all these like
I want to be
horrible people, right?
I want to be as
Because
fair as I can to Kant, right? So when you read Critique of Pure Reason, I think you are correct
Mhm,
in practice, but not necessarily in what he posits,
mhm,
right? Like I agree that it doesn't matter what he claims if the underlying issue
mhm,
then becomes destructive to philosophy through and science throughout the world. But to be fair,
yeah,
he breaks it down and then tries to build like, the concept of like the
yeah,
noumena, right? Like the concept of like what
yeah.
like how you can
But
think and
that's
engage in a
bullshit.
world in a functionalist perspective. It's all bullshit because he denies pure reason, right?
Mhm,
In Critique of Pure Reason. But I do want to be
exactly.
fair and just say that Kant isn't positing
Mhm.
that you can't trust or know anything ever, right? Like that's not his claim, but it is kind of his
But
claim
that's the result
in
of
in in
what he
practice.
yeah. In the sense that the first generation of Kantians, they just throw the entire Numina phenomena thing out, and they just become skeptics. They just say that, well, can't prove that we can't know anything, and anything he built on faith, so we can just disregard it.
Right.
It's like
Which
who
which
cares?
which the
So it
most important
becomes like even though Kant was not literally a skeptic, yeah. Yeah, go
well,
ahead.
no, I
Mhm.
think one of the biggest problems we have in communicating just how serious this is that if I call you
Yeah.
illogical, it is
Hmm.
the greatest insult that could ever be levied against a person. And yet it is treated
Yeah.
as like not really that big of a deal. Right? If I say that you are no longer engaged in
Hmm.
reality, you are no longer engaged in reason, what you are saying is contradictory or illogical.
Yeah.
People kind of
Hmm.
don't care, right? Right? But like if I say you're stupid,
Yeah.
stupid is leagues
Hmm.
under the sea compared to the insult of what you are
Yeah.
saying is illogical or what you are who you are illogical. And so like I feel like we play this weird game
Hmm.
in like the ANCAP objectivist kind of space of like constantly trying to find 10 different ways to just describe that you're not engaged in reason thinking because none of it ever really
Yeah.
clicks with people because they have been brought up to to they genuinely the
Hmm.
majority of people have been raised and indoctrinated and socialized into a concept that truth is relative and that contradictions can be true. And like I don't know the right answer to
Hmm.
that problem,
Yeah.
right? Like I know that like we're all trying to find different ways to come at that problem and showcase it, but I don't know how you solve that problem. It's just kind of an observation.
Yep. I think we're doing the best that we can, right? Like try to convince as many people, and I think these things take a very long time. Uh, like previously, every switch in philosophy has taken like at least a century, right? So like maybe now the internet is there, like ideas are spreading faster than ever before, right?
Mhm.
So it might take just let's say half a century this time around,
I don't
but let's say like
I think
the
the truth might actually be the opposite. I think the spread of ideas
Mhm.
I think that because I think there's so much noise. And so because of that,
Mhm.
like in I want to think that the spread of ideas being more facilitated by the internet means that like paradigm shifts in
Mhm.
philosophy would occur at a higher rate. But I think instead what we have is so much noise and so many different ideas that it actually becomes more difficult, right? Like because, before philosophy was not in the realm of the everyday man. Sure, everyone engages in
Mhm.
philosophy, but in deciding what is, like in deciding these things, we were talking about a elite group of people that were already in direct communication with each other, right? They were already like every philosophy contemporary that was worth their salt was already reading, writing, translating everything into Latin so that everybody could read it. And then, engaging in argumentation with other philosophers in Latin. And so, someone comes up with a new concept or a new idea. And you're right, it takes a century before everyone kind of gets on board. But now I worry that what we have instead is so many different philosophers and so many different people that are anti-philosophers that are kind of just screaming into a void, trying to sway public perception of idiots. So so maybe it'll go quicker, but I also could very well see that it can take much, much longer to overturn bad philosophy that's been kind of inculcated into the masses, because everything that is new is competing with 100 different bad ideas. Luca's internet is hilarious.
It might be that, like, in the sense that there is noise, but is it better now?
Yeah, you catch up. It's just how it is. You know what I mean? You get behind and then you catch up.
Give me 1 second. And
you back?
Yeah. I'm gonna keep my video off for a bit, just so that, like, they're watching the video, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I'll put it on.
Yeah, it'll probably make the stream go a little smoother if you cut video off. We miss your hair, okay? We will miss your hair, Luca, but it's probably for the best. All right, let's go. Let's continue.
2. Integration. Integration is the proper method of reasoning, uniting facts by their essentials, guided by logic, to achieve a non-contradictory whole. It is the method of science, of Aristotelian thought, of the Enlightenment, of America's founding fathers. The philosopher most representative of this mode of thinking is Aristotle. 3. Misintegration. Misintegration is the opposite error, forcing false or mystical connections upon reality, merging facts into a false totality. This is the method of religion, of collectivism, of Hegel, Marx, and
you had to throw in Hegel too? Boys, he didn't just throw Kant under the bus. He threw Hegel under the bus too. This is a de facto objectivist video. All right, I will now like the video. I do worry about your the bait and switch method is kind of funny, and maybe it works because this is only a 9-minute video, but I do think you have to be careful about bait and switch videos on your channel, because a large part of YouTube's algorithm, specifically on YouTube, is meaningful watch duration, right? And so if your video does a bait and switch and people don't like it, and so they leave the video, then what'll happen is YouTube will say, oh, well, this is a shitty video because people didn't stay. And the main reason is economic, right? Because whenever people click off of a video without the video finishing, they're far more likely to close YouTube in general. They're like, oh, I got shit to do. Like when they get like halfway through a video and then they leave, that is the moment where they go off platform to like go do the dishes or go do something else. And that means YouTube loses money. Okay, so you have to be careful about doing bait and switch videos, because you might cause people to watch the first 2 or 3 minutes of your video and then they leave the video because it's not what they wanted, and then they might leave the platform, and then YouTube will kill your fucking video in the algorithm. It won't show it to anybody, because if that occurs often enough in your video, then your video is synonymous with, this video makes us lose money.
Okay.
Just throwing that out there. Just something to think about when you do the bait and switch videos, is definitely keep them under 10 minutes like you did with this one. And be careful. And do like...
I do think that I put a lot on there,
What's that? You do
like,
what?
I put too much information in this video. I'm just thinking I should have made this one a 30-minute video and explained everything a little bit more. Like, I put too much information in this video, and that's why it comes off as like someone who just doesn't know these things. Like, they're gonna be like, well, why is Hegel wrong? Why is Kant wrong? And like I should have explained that a little bit,
Yeah, but here's the other thing with videos. You're correct when it comes to the normie, but also videos like this that where they're relatively short are also good for people to like bookmark that are already objectivists. And they're like trying to remember something, and they'll come back to this video because it'll refresh all their memory.
Yeah, it will be a good video for that. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, it depends on who your audience is. If your audience is primarily normies, yeah, you're right. If your audience is primarily people that are already objectivist or objectivist leaning or learning, then it's fine to do these shorter, pack a bunch of information into the video, but don't necessarily make arguments for each thing, but rather just inform or make a lot of claims. They're really good for your own people.
Next one.
All right, let's go. We're saying, howdy, happy Sunday, Saturday.
Every other authoritarian who pretends to offer the big picture while severing it from reality. This mode of thinking is characterized by a large, interconnected, elaborate web of abstract ideas, but no connection of this system of ideas to concrete reality. A castle in the air situation. The philosopher most representative of this mode of thinking is Plato. Till now.
Dude, fucking.
Yeah.
The most subjectivist video ever. He shits on Marx. Whatever. Everyone shits on Marx that isn't retarded. He shits on Kant. He shits on Hegel. And he shits on Plato and the theory of forms bullshit. Let's go. I love it. I like the video.
Now, we have been living in and continue to live in a world moving closer and closer to the D mode, be it the denial of objective truth, positivist legal theory, subjective modern art, modern physics with its denial of certainty, and modern politics with its...
When you're trying to inform, explain a concept before you give the name of a concept, because to the learned mind, they go, the D mode, right? Like they're aware of that phrase, right? The better way to do it when you're talking to normies is to say we're moving towards this, also known as the D mode. So just like when you're writing your scripts, remember that normies that are unfamiliar with terms, putting the term first doesn't help them. It confuses them. People that are aware, they already have a concept, right? What you're doing is you're trying to form a concept, describe the form before you name it.
Yep. I think that's what the big flaw of this video is. Like it's good for the people who already know it, but like for the people who don't know it, like they'll get confused very quickly. And I realized this after I made the video, after I posted it, and like then I watched it, and then I was like, I'm not even most of this. Like this is a in-group video, like this is already objectivist person video.
It depends on the language too, right? So, for example, in Romance languages, you would say a car, a car, bright, shiny red. And so the French mind or the Spanish speaking mind is going to be more familiar with giving a name of a concept and then explaining the concept, because linguistically, that's how they think, that's how they speak. But especially in English, you would never say, it would be really weird to say a car that is bright, shiny, and red. We would just say a bright, shiny red car. Right? So like, not to be postmodern, not to give too much credit to fucking Derrida and fucking, the French postmodernists and in the way that language forms the mind. Right? But there is some truth to that. Right? So if you're speaking in English, it is particularly important to give the adjectives and explain the thing before you name the thing, unless people are already aware of the thing, and then it puts that thing in their mind, and then they're just getting additional details.
In and continue to live in a world moving closer and closer to the D mode, be it the denial of objective truth, positivist legal theory, subjective modern art, modern physics with its denial of certainty, and modern politics with its disdain for principles in favor of pragmatism. Since the end of the world wars to now, and modern politics with its...
Who's this stock footage baddie right here, side-eyeing me from the podium? Where did you find this from? I know. Come on now. Come on. Anyways, Continuing on. Sorry, I got a little distracted.
Legal theory, subjective modern art, modern physics with its denial of certainty, and modern politics with its disdain for principles in favor of pragmatism. Since the end of the world wars to now has been a time where nihilism has ruled supreme in philosophy and culture. For the most part, that is coming to an end for two important reasons. One, people cannot live like this forever. This kind of thinking leads to the slow degradation of everything good to nothing. Art, science, rights, truth, all gets degraded and eliminated, not for something greater, but to the altar of the zero, to the supreme god of nothingness. Outside of the few people deeply committed to the cause of nihilism.
This is a problem that objectivists especially suffer from, which is like this this like I'm giving this impassioned, emboldened speech that is almost religious in structure, that I feel like if you're trying to talk to normies, you gotta be careful about, right? So like this thing here,
science, rights, truth, all gets degraded and eliminated, not for something greater, but to the altar of the zero, to the
like the supreme god of nothingness, the altar of the zero. I've found that like that it isn't effective as we think it is, that it comes off weird to normal people. And it's a thing that I notice objectivists do a lot. And I think I think it comes from that thing I was trying to describe earlier, which is the frustration with trying to get people to see just how bad illogical or anti-rational concepts, which is a contradiction, I get, you know what I mean, right, are that they're like constantly trying to vent a new impassioned, emboldened way to say just how bad it is, but it almost becomes detached from reality, because reality is that people don't see it that bad. Like, so it tends to work against us. And I think sometimes you can sprinkle that in, but you got to be careful about not being like so like over the top, because you just sound crazy to the normal person.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it sounds weird to a normie, like the altar of zero and to the supreme god of nothingness. It sounds base as fuck if you're an objectivist or a libertarian giving a speech, but it sounds weird in like a informative YouTube video.
I think this is what, like, Rothbard was not like right about everything that he criticized like the objectivist movement on, but like, you could understand where he was coming from, in the sense that it can, like, it's all of this, theory, like when put to emotional words, can seem like very, very heavy. And like, I can see it like like if like you or me are listening to this, like if this is a video made by someone else, and if I came across it, like me, the objectivist, I would really like it. But if I sent it to my normie friend, they'll be like, yeah, this sounds like a religion. Almost
100%.
right?
They'd be like, this is, I mean, you're talking about sacrificing the good to the altar of zero and the supreme god of nothingness while having B-roll footage of a man in a mask.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, to normal people, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, but it's just a minor critique, because, why not? You know what I mean? I'm just trying to use what little experience I have to help out the other people that are getting their channels going. This just a, like, it's not like it's, I'm not saying you're crazy. It's just a, point to look at.
Yeah, I know. Actually, like, a very normie friend of mine gave me the same advice, in the sense that you're coming off too strong. Like, you're being too strong here.
Right,
like,
right.
So, yeah.
I do think you could have expanded just a little bit, right? By taking a direct quote from Kant, or I wouldn't use Hegel, because trying to pick apart Hegel will just bring all kinds of crazy people in the chat, because everyone on the left pretends that they understand Hegel, and everyone on the right pretends that they understand Hegel, and everyone that says that they understand Hegel doesn't understand Hegel, because Hegel doesn't understand himself, because none of his shit makes sense, because it's fucking word vomit. Right, but like at least Kant or Marx or something, just to give like a quick example of like something that they say that is misintegration, right? That is a false concept or something. Like, I think because you are making a lot of claims, and you are making arguments from your perspective of the philosophy, but you're not steel manning your opposition's arguments at all. or at the very least straw manning them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm just
eat
not
glass,
manning
boys.
them. Like I'm not putting the. Yeah.
Everyone everyone make a simple syrup and then and make a simple syrup and then freeze it in the freezer and walk up to evolutionary capitalism and just break the glass in front of him and chew on it in front of his face.
Supreme god of nothingness. Outside of the few people deeply committed to the cause of nihilism, be it some college philosophy professors or accelerationist psychotic.
$2. There's no such thing as understanding Hegel. True. And what's funny, what's the fun, that gets me more than anything about people that say that they understand Hegel is that it's never like Slavoj Zizek or something, right? Like it's never some like highbrow leftist. It's always like some fucking hot girl on Twitter that's like, reading Hegel again in a coffee shop. It's always somebody that is like a fucking midwit. It's never, I never see that claim from really smart people because really smart people are honest enough to be like, yeah, I don't fucking get that shit. Same thing with Deluge, but like to a lesser degree because he's not as popular.
Also, like giving my third world perspective here, like by the way, pretty much all these Hegelians, Marxists over here in India, they're like just like sons and daughters of like rich people who got rich through nefarious means, right? So like and all of them,
brother, it's the same here. What the fuck do you think Hassan Piker is? The most popular person to push this shit is a silver spoon socialist who's a millionaire.
Oh yeah, and I'll give an example in the sense that, like, if you see any Communist Party meetings happening in Delhi, it's going to be the most posh neighborhoods of Delhi, like where where like going there like brings you to the first world. That's like one first world enclave in Delhi, let's say, and like if you're so hell bent on like giving away your wealth, just give it to me, man. Like I'm okay with it, but
well, it's always what we want to do with somebody else's money. It's never what we want to do with our own money. Like I saw some post and it was like, I'm actually proud to have my taxes paid to feed the poor. And it's like, no, you're not, you lying sack of shit. Because if you were, and that's what you wanted, you just donate to food banks. Like when I go to the grocery store, right? Across the street, there's these bags, and there's a local food bank. I like the food bank, and they have they're a good food bank, and they have these bags that are $6, and you can go and buy them at the counter for $6, and like and just help out some fucking homeless people. And when winter comes around, sorry for everyone donating, I want you to know that at least some portion of your money does indeed go to me feeling somewhat altruistic or some dumb shit and being like fucking $6, you know what I mean? It's cold out there, I'll give some people some food. Fuck it, right? Like, and like that's fine because I actually believe in that. And when it gets really cold, what do? My mom and I, we go out, we get a bunch of socks, and we give out give out socks to the homeless so they have fresh, clean socks to protect their feet in the winter. And it's hilarious every time because my mother every time will go out and buy a bunch of socks for females, and then she can't find homeless females. And she's like, what's up with all these socks? Where are the homeless females? And I'm like, Mom, they're all men. You have to, and she forgets every year. Every year we do this. We go out and we give out socks to the homeless near Christmas because it's getting fucking cold out there, and we want to make sure they have like good socks to keep their feet warm. And fucking every year we have to go to like some battered women's shelter, and I have to sit in the car while she goes there because men are banned on premise, so she can donate a bunch of socks to them because we have way too many socks for women because it never clicks in her mind that all of the homeless people are dudes. And it's fucking hilarious. But yeah, it's like you would do that. You wouldn't petition for more welfare. You would just give, if you truly believe that, you would just give some of your money to these people. But you don't want to give some of your money. You want Elon Musk to give his money up. That's what you want.
And also, one, there is like a very good joke that I can just make, which I will make, which is that the homeless population and the libertarian community share something in common. They're all men.
Yeah, it's like my audience last time I checked was 97% male, and like every now and then I'll get some like OnlyFans prostitutes alternative account, and they were like, I saw one of your YouTube videos and I was really interested in it. Like, you say some really cool ideas, and I'm like, you're a hot girl DMing me out of nowhere, telling me that you like my YouTube videos and you thought they were cool ideas. Sure. Yeah, sure thing, Samantha. Yeah, I really believe you.
Another joke there, in the sense that, like, if a hot girl is DMing you and asking you about something like that, either like talking about crypto or complimenting your videos, like, block that dude.
Yeah. I usually so I used to talk to him just enough to get him to fucking like talk to me and then give me their OnlyFans link and then just be like, oh, sorry, I don't support pornography because it eats away at the woman's, and just like really give like a long paragraph just shitting on them. And then my algorithm like turned into more OnlyFans girls. And I was like, God damn it. I can't even shit on them. And it's like, I'm talking to some dude that works for her anyways. So it doesn't fucking matter. But then it fucked up my algorithm. And it was like, okay, well, this isn't fun anymore. So now I just block them immediately. All right, let's continue.
Just before we start, like I was talking about the, rich idiot, like, rich sons and daughters of idiots, right? Like, these people will like claim to understand Hegel and Marx, but I've never met two. Like, I've never met two of these people who agree on an interpretation, right? So like out of these 500 million interpretations, please sit down and decide which one is the correct one, and then come to me. Like, nobody ever understands Hegel. Like, that's just a thing, because as you said, Hegel didn't understand Hegel. Like, the fucking philosophy is a bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, and it's and you see this even in Marx, right? Like that, like you can't understand Marxism unless you just read fucking Engels, right? Like if you read everything Marx wrote, you will come away realizing that like he believed all of these contradictory things that make no fucking sense. And at least Engels is like good at hiding that and like giving a concrete philosophy, right? Like if you want to understand Marxism, you can read Engels' Socialism and Scientific and Utopic and like understand what their argument is. It's bad, and but if you just read like all of the writings of Marx, it's very obvious he's just a crazy person. Like it's really, really obvious. All right, let's continue.
Few people deeply committed to the cause of nihilism, be it some college philosophy professors or accelerationist psychotics, most people do not tolerate and cannot tolerate the destruction of their values. They desperately search for something else. 2. There has been a revival of Aristotle.
Yeah, you gotta. I think you have to learn to bridge the gap between concepts that normies understand versus concepts spoken from an objectivist perspective, right? So, right. So, like a concept that most people have a beginning of that you can then give an objectivist bent to is searching for meaning, right? Like when you when you say that, normal people are like, yeah, my life lacks meaning, and then you can say why they're failing to gain that meaning and use objectivist philosophy from that perspective. But you got to start where they are. And it seems kind of like you're starting with them kind of already understanding the concepts. You're just kind of like rehashing. Ariel, it's not altruism. If you value what you receive in return enough to give to those poor people, higher psychic profit, I think is the term from not psychic reward, but same difference. You still gain from those exchanges. By the way, catching up with Atlas Shrugged. There you go, brother. There you go. Atlas Shrugged, great book. Again, if you're not going to read Atlas Shrugged, right, because it's a fucking slog. If you're not going to read it, for the love of God, just go on YouTube and listen to the radio speech. Because everything that you need to get from Atlas Shrugged is in John Galt's radio speech. But Atlas Shrugged gives you a story and a context that really, I think, is necessary to really get it. But, I don't know how much time you have on your hands or how good your willpower is, because it can be a lot.
Yeah, I just hope that someone at the ARI is rich enough to do this, or we're gonna have to wait to the point that the copyright runs out and like make a manga or a Netflix series out of this already, right? Like, imagine how many people that would convert. Like, I want that to happen, right?
I'm looking for my audiobook on Audible. Here we go. I found it. So the audiobook
Yeah.
is 62 hours and 56 minutes. Okay, it is. And for reference,
You could do it
just
in a week.
like, okay,
You
just
could
for
do it in a
reference,
week.
I did it and I've listened to it a couple times. But for reference,
Yeah.
Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings, a famously too long book, is 45 hours and 30 minutes. So so Atlas Shrugged is an entire audiobook longer than The Way of Kings.
Do you remember Ross? I think it was Rossbard or someone else. I don't remember exactly, but let's say I think you're pretty sure that it was Rothbard. I think before the book was launched, he said something along the lines of, like, what book would take 12 years to write? And like after it was launched and after he read it, he was like, how did she finish this in 12 years? So like,
yeah, like it's a bit,
yeah,
it's a slog, but it's a good book. It's just you have to approach the book as
and that's the thing.
a
Yeah,
medium of her philosophy and not as a book. If you approach the book purely to read a piece of fiction, you'll hate it. If you approach the book as a,
Mhm.
a medium for an entire world philosophy that is contained, that every bit of that world philosophy is contained within one book. You do not need any other
Mhm.
writings by Ayn Rand if you read Atlas Shrugged. You don't need to read Fountainhead. You don't
Yeah,
need to read her articles. You don't need to read anything but Atlas Shrugged. And if you read it and understand everything in Atlas Shrugged, you will understand objectivism. Period. And
yeah,
so,
yep.
yeah, you know what I mean. So like that's kind of how you have to read it. But anyways, it is funny.
Yeah. But I like
Somebody
the
said
story as well. The story's not bad. You know, I
it's
love the story as well.
nah, you're getting a
Mhm.
little Randroid on me. It's a mid ass book by itself.
Yeah, it's a
Also,
good.
someone said, or
I
wait
like
for
it.
someone to make an AI movie version. There is a movie version of Atlas Shrugged, by the way. The first one's
But
not
they
that
have
bad.
bad.
The second and third one are garbage.
Yeah, I don't like the movies. Yeah,
All right, let's
let's
continue.
go.
They desperately
Mhm.
search for something else. 2. There has been a revival of Aristotle with the philosophy of objectivism given by Ayn Rand, and the I mode of thinking displaced by Kant has made a revival and now stands, at least in its theoretical substance, the superior force among the three. However, the Aristotelian remnant is still numerically small compared to the Kantian and Platonic elements in society. So, Kant is dead, both in technical philosophy.
Yeah, that's a little wordy. Like that, like
Mhm. Yeah,
just everything you said there, like kind of requires to
Mhm.
understand that upon first listen as someone who is not an
Yeah,
objectivist would require you to have
Mhm.
like 115 120 IQ. Like if you've never really
Yeah,
read any objectivism and then you listen to that spiel, if you're a normal IQ person,
Mhm.
you're like, what the fuck is he saying? Like it's just too many new concepts thrown in to like a single sentence for people
Yeah,
to be able to understand. Like you gotta like you've almost cleaned it up a little too much to the point where you're trying to put in too
yeah,
much into one video.
yeah.
Like I
It should
would
have been a 40-minute video, right?
no, it should be
It should have
three
been just.
videos. It should be
Yeah,
three
it should be
10-minute
3 videos.
videos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Small compared to the Kantian and
Mhm.
Platonic elements in society. So, Kant is dead, both in technical philosophy, by objectivism, and in the psychological response, the fruits of his philosophy elicit in people, and various different groups circle around his corpse to replace their mode of thinking as the dominant one. Let's see who they
I
are
think
in the
it's
context
gonna
of
get
politics.
interesting
We
now.
can
Huh?
Like now I'm done with the like I've speed run the theory till now. Now it's gonna get interesting. Like now I'm proud of things from now on. Now it gets entertaining now.
Right, you're introducing
Yeah.
concepts. Now you're like trying to make an argument here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Various different groups circle around his courts to replace their mode of thinking as the dominant one. Let's see who they are in the context of politics. We can broadly see the groups in modern politics fall into these three categories. 1. The religionists. These are people who want to return to religion and blind faith in the face of Kant's madness. 2. The Marxists or leftists. With some additions, like intersectionality, the overall core of most leftists remains the dialectics of Hegel and Marx, with an entire elaborate but false web of abstractions which defines an entire way of looking at the world. 3. The fascists. These are basically the same as the Marxists, but replace the interests of the nation or the race over those of class. The resulting system is often similar and similarly has an entire theoretical elaborate web of false abstractions.
I mostly agree with you. I think you have to be careful about stating that fascists aren't all. Did you say mostly? Hold on.
Same as the Marxists, but replace the interests of the nation or the race over those of class.
Yeah, like, because I mean, class is still a predominant part of fascism. It evolves into no longer being class-based, but it starts as a class-based discussion in part. It just supplants what it believes to be the class into an identitarian, nationalist, or racial lens, right? So it starts as populism.
We care more about the race, right?
What's that?
And it does care about class, but like its first thing is the race, right?
Well, I think what I think I mean by this is fascism comes from, as far as I can tell, historically speaking, and in today's society with neo-fascism, it starts with leftism gains control in the institutions and makes everything about class, but now everything's kind of about race, etc. And so I think there might be a change in the way that fascism is done now, because it's maybe even more so a blend of race and class than it was in the past because of the race-obsessed left, right? Almost like because it is a subversion, right? So maybe it puts in more classism because the left is putting in more racism, right? But I think it starts with the elites, and it is talking about class, and then it slowly gives an identity to those elites that is national or race, right? And then as that occurs, slowly it becomes less and less about class and more about the nation and the race. But I think it's also important to recognize that class is, because I mean it's a mixture, right? Fascism is just as you stated, it is Marxism, it is socialism, right? That takes on and subverts it with new identity-based beliefs and more focuses on, the isolationist nationalist position.
And I think this is where like we as ANCAPs and objectives, like we're able to, see that okay, these are just two different types of leftists with like certain similarities, and like the dissimilarities, like from our perspective, from a distance, like they're almost irrelevant, right? Like in the sense that you're gonna do the same thing and you're saying basically the same thing. But yeah, you're pointing out an important distinction there that can be like fleshed out more.
Right, but if we're worried about fascism rising in its infancy and communicating to normies, you have to meet them where they are and what they see. And it's like they do see the conversations around class. It's just that class morphs into the Jews, and then it becomes about the Jews instead of class. But you're also seeing the way in which the Jews subvert your underbelly class is by bringing in this other thing to supplant the lower class, like migration and immigration and things like that. And then it becomes about the national and racial identity, but it is kind of also talking about class. It's just the solution is the focus on the nation and the race. But the problem that they're in part correctly identifying and in part incorrectly identifying is class-based. I don't know, maybe I'm being nitpicky. It was just kind of like my thought in the moment,
No, you're right. In the sense that, like, first of all, like, I'm just gonna say, like, I personally love the Jews, man. Like, all my heroes are Jewish.
I'm like a hardcore critic of everything. You know what I mean? Like because it's like I'm already starting with this will be interesting to watch. Let's check it out. And now I'm like, how can I put this through the crucible to make it even more pure?
Yeah, of course. That's how it should be. And I'm just gonna say that, like, first of all, yeah, like I speak for myself here that I love the Jews. I love like all like 90% of my
I
ninety
love
percent of my heroes
some
are Jewish.
Jews. All right. I'm not racist. I
I
have a
mean,
Jewish friend.
yeah, yeah. And in the sense that like it is like fascinating in the sense that 90% of like basically libertarian thought comes from Jewish people, and of course I think 90% of all intellectual thought in the last 200 years is coming from Jewish people. So like that's why
Yeah, it's like there's
mostly,
not a lot
but
of
like it is a very yeah
yeah, it's the same thing
yeah.
with Nobel prizes.
Mhm. Yeah.
All
So
right,
like
let's continue.
very intellectual people and like yeah. Right.
These are basically the same as the Marxists, but replace the interests of the nation or the race over those of class. The resulting system is often similar and similarly has an entire theoretical elaborate web of false abstractions. I will link in the description Tick History's video on the origins of National Socialism, which illuminates this point. All three of the above are of the M category.
That was a good idea to just be like, just watch Tick History's video. There's no fucking way I'm going to be able to explain in this 10-minute video why the Nazis were fucking socialists. Like just watch this video. Yeah.
On the origins of National Socialism,
That's a
which
good
illuminates
video.
this point. All three of the above are of the M category, essentially Platonists, but despite their similarity of mode of thinking, they do hold significant enmity towards each other, and all view the other as fundamentally evil, even if they share many of the same core philosophical ideas. And all of them, being collectivists and authoritarians, they do resort to political violence against each other and against others as well. This is what would explain, say, the recent shooting of Charlie Kirk, who himself was a rather moderate member of the religionist camp with some nationalistic ideas, but was seen as a mortal danger by a member of the leftist camp for his advocacy of his views. And as that philosophy holds words to be violence, the shooting of him was nothing but an act of self-defense for the murderer in question. A possibility of reprisals for this from the religionists or the fascists remains now a very reasonable possibility for the exact same reasons. All of these groups.
I mean, you tied in, like there was a setup and a payoff. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say that was clean. That was like, you set it up in the beginning with the thumbnail, you kind of, and then you like you're tying it now here. That was clean. That was clean. I got nothing to say about that other than that was perfect. That's exactly how you should have done it.
Also, like the funny thing is that like I could like replace any other example of political violence with Charlie Kirk and explain it. So like it's not a Charlie Kirk video, but it's a Charlie Kirk video.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the thing that that's the thing that people are thinking of in the moment. Also, I don't know what you did during editing that made this giant gray bar on the side, but like fix that.
Okay. Remains now a very reasonable possibility for the exact same reasons. All of these groups see the other as fundamentally evil, and with every subsequent sensationalist act will ask their political representatives for increasing radicalism, refusal to compromise, and even violence, furthering the...
Hey, I brought up Slavoj Zizek, and he just happened to be in the fucking video. All right. Wasn't expecting that, but fair enough.
For increasing radicalism, refusal to compromise, and even violence, furthering the vicious cycle. The politics of unprincipled, concrete-bound compromisers is a remnant of the Kantian era, which is coming to an end. Further radicalization is to be expected. Another alternative, a real alternative to both Plato and Kant, is objectivism, a philosophy discovered by Ayn Rand, and the final and long-needed completion of Aristotle. With Rand giving a new rational philosophy which answers and displaces Kant, we now have a re-emergence of the I mode of thinking, with the possibility of a re-emergence of rational ethics, rational science, with its unprecedented technological progress, of respect of natural rights of man, with its unprecedented economic prosperity, and of great art, of a culture of never-before-seen greatness. This is because objectivism has as its guiding principle
the video is in ambient mode. That's why it's like that. Oh, I did that. Okay. Fucking, I don't remember how to fix that. But okay. Yeah. My bad. I'm retarded. That's all on me. All right.
Before seen greatness. This is because objectivism has as its guiding principle the primacy of existence. They do not begin with I want, but with it is. All other alternatives present are in some way dependent upon the opposite approach, the primacy of consciousness, be it divine or collective or personal. But consciousness is an ability to perceive existence, and thus cannot come before it. And so, objectivism.
This should not have been in the video. That should be a video in and of itself. trying to throw in the distinction between the primacy of existence and the primacy of consciousness and like give it a quick definition, like as you're talking, it's like maybe it would be okay if you then had a pop-up in the top right that said like I have a video on this distinction, check it out here. Maybe then it would be fine in here for those that want to learn more. But like you've already thrown so much at them that then trying to just shoehorn in the primacy of existence and the primacy of consciousness is way too much for the normal viewer.
Yeah.
Like it's not bad for an objectivist watching it. It's bad for a normie watching.
Or personal. But consciousness is an ability to perceive existence, and thus cannot come before it. And so, objectivism, with its focus on existence as the primary, builds a philosophical structure grounded in reality, and thus always.
Casimir says, I question this man's Indian credentials. Where are the sexy ladies throughout the video? Oh, that's so racist and funny. My favorite thing about Indians and music videos and like the need to have like tits everywhere was that fucking I don't know the language, so please forgive me. Right, but that dun 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 video, dun 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 da da da, right? Like that fuck, and like the whole reason he made that video was because everyone was like, you suck as a singer, nothing you do is good. The only reason that you're able to have any success is because you put hot bitches in all your videos, and then people just watch it for the hot bitches. And he was like, fine, I'll make a video that's nothing but really bad CGI and me. And then he did it, and it is the best song he ever made, and it's amazing.
Yeah. That's correct, man.
Yeah, I know a little bit. I know a little bit about a lot of things. All right, I just don't know a lot about too many things. But yeah, all right, let's continue.
Ability to perceive existence, and thus cannot come before it. And so, objectivism, with its focus on existence as the primary, builds a philosophical structure grounded in reality, and thus always corresponding to reality. This sets objectivism apart as the only philosophy which will be correct in its correspondence, predictions, and prescriptions about reality and what man should do. And as such, the wonderful results I listed above can be gained, but only from this kind of an approach. But this is a big shift, and will be and is being resisted by both the Kantians and the Platonists. And thus, while undefeated, the Aristotelian resurgence is small compared to these others. The objectivists are radicals too, but they are radicals for reason and objective truth, including the ideas of rights, and as such, would not engage in the vicious cycle of violence out of principle, and would never use violence except in self-defense against the initiation of force upon them first. The future lies in one of these alternatives. Either one of the three Platonic alternatives takes over and imposes a dictatorship, or the Aristotelian remnant takes over and humanity enters an unprecedented golden age. Only time and the actions of people like you and me can decide. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, I am posting in the description the original playlist of The Dim Hypothesis by Leonard Peacock. I would highly recommend you go and watch these and learn this theory for yourself to better arm yourself in the struggle to come for the future of humanity. Thank you.
I want to say that's also a really good outro, algorithmically speaking, because anytime people believe that the video is coming to an end, they click off. And so when you were like, thank you, like, subscribe, and then you immediately went in and said, you know, I'm going to post this in the description so you can do this. You did a really clean, quick outro that like even has a little bit of an extra thing to keep them in. Like, oh wait, what was that last little bit? That gets them to have, like, again, meaningful watch duration. You want people to watch as close to 100% of your videos as you can. So some of the things you did really bad, right? Just to review, little too heavy on like kind of the cultish religious kind of language to try and really punch up. You got to tone that down for the normies. You got to get a better microphone. You need to buy a real microphone. Even if it's if you're gonna make content, like there is a microphone. Like, even if it's just like a Yeti condenser mic, right? Like not a really expensive one, just like a $50 mic or something. You know, a USB 2.0 condenser microphone is fine, but that little lapel shit, the headset mic or whatever, it's giving you really bad audio. And that bad audio is going to cause people to leave your videos immediately. But the video editing was good. The concepts were good. The setup and payoff with the Charlie Kirk was good. It was a little too heady, like I think you pushed in a little too many concepts in that amount of time. But overall, it's A tier, man. Overall, it's a great video. I liked it. More of this from everybody, guys.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, let me.
More of this. Hard disagree with
Video
Scott
on.
here. He needs a proper converter first. The microphone can be cheaper. Talk to somebody that knows their audio well, right? Casimir might be able. Casimir's good with the hookups and the deals. I don't know. Maybe you probably want to talk to somebody local because obviously you're in India. So what deals you can and can't get, what's going to be cheap and expensive is going to be different. But yeah, you're kind of not wrong, Casimir. If you plan on doing this long term, you can get a cheaper mic first, but get other things later, right? Like, because I mean, just as an example of a mistake that I made is like I got a cheap Focusrite, and then I got a really nice mic, and for the longest time I had subpar audio until I needed to get a better preamp, right? And it's like he's kind of not wrong that you can get a cheap mic first if you have other, like you have preamps and things like that make the audio crisper, and then you can upgrade to a better mic later. But just talk to a tech guy. Like I'm sure you know some like audiophile nerds and see what deals you can get in India, because I'm sure like whatever product I suggest to you is gonna be a price to performance thing, and you're gonna have different prices in India.
Yeah, basically. And I am doing like that research, and I'm like saving up for a good mic and everything. Like I will fix the audio issue as soon as possible. Like,
well, it's
because
just like your video right now. Like you can film with a camera and have like a phone and have passable video, right? Like you don't need like I have like my video setup is I got it on a Black Friday sale for a couple $100, and then the lens I use was like another 120, right? Like nobody needs this unless you are streaming every day, right? Like nobody needs video like, and with my studio lights and everything, I've easily got over $1,000 worth of video equipment. But that shit pales in comparison to good audio. Good audio is so much more important than video. Don't worry about the video at all until you can stream to 10,000 viewers with a webcam. And like you won't get that much of an increase in your profits and in your views and stuff with upgrading your video, but you'll see a huge increase with good audio.
Yeah. I think the audio issue is going to be like, it is the first thing that I will resolve.
The other problem is for streaming and for talking to people is your internet. And I don't know if you can really fix that in India. I don't know what you have available to you, depending upon where you live.
It's just annoying in the sense that like it's taking some iterations, because I think yesterday got a new router installed, and now it's giving me problems. So I'm gonna have to like call the people up, and like it's just fucking annoying.
Okay.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah, dude, I'm really excited to see if like how much faster space Elon Musk's internet. Because right now it's passable to stream on, but it's not quite good enough, right? But it's not that like a few more satellites, a few more iterations. It looks like he's going to be able to have oh my god, what is this fucking internet called? I don't know. To talk to Casimir. Casimir might be able to help you.
I think Elon Musk's is Starlink, right?
Starlink. I couldn't think of the name. Sorry. Yeah. Because like I saw him do a video where he was streaming a video game at like 30 frames per second without any significant lag. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Whatever. It's kind of dog shit. And then not long ago, I saw like CNN streaming like 7 different streams from an airplane, and it was working fine. And I was like, oh shit, like this is about to get a lot better. My Discord background is still the space thing. Yeah, I haven't changed it in fucking OBS. Right when I launched stream, fucking here we go.
It still looks beautiful, very much.
Okay, hold on. Oh my god. Hold on. We'll get there, boys. We'll get there. Oh, this isn't the one I wanted. Hold on. It's not the one I wanted. This one. There we go. Ah! No! Oh my God, stop it. I'm not used to using fucking OBS. I'm used to using Streamlabs. Oh my God, did it lock? What is happening?
Like you are moving, the background is not.
Oh my God, what in the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's moving now. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah, it's
fucking
okay.
God. Fucking, here we go. Here we go, boys.
Yeah.
Aha! I might need to reverse the image. Or no, that's fucking Discord. All right, boys. Was there any other, is anybody else's content that they wanted to watch? It was kind of an impromptu Saturday thing. Oh, guys.
Yeah.
If nobody else has any fucking content from their own channels or whatever that they really wanted me to look at, that's fine. I'll be back Monday. But also, I'm working on making a new intro video. So please, in the Discord, send me random clips from like, you know, just moments from the last year for a new fucking slop-worthy intro video, right? Because like everything in my intro video is like all outdated shit. Right. And I need new shit, like new, like what the fuck was happening in politics here. If you've watched my intro video, you kind of get what I'm going for. I'm just going for funny shock factor, crazy things that happened, you know, usually like relevant to today. And my video is now outdated. So we're making a new one. How about one of my video game reviews? It's like 2 minutes. Yeah, what I don't give a fuck. Like I'll watch a video game review. I'll give you some critique on that. DM it to me over Discord. Do you want to hang out here still, or do you want to hop out of here?
I would hop out of here. I'm gonna have to go to the gym.
Hell yeah, brother.
Because it's
get some gains. All right, peace.
Right.
Everybody follow. What is the channel name again? What's your channel name again?
I was in the chat earlier as well.
The Rational
Frontier. Just Rational Frontier.
The Rational Frontier?
Rational Frontier.
Oh, not the. Rational Frontier. No, All right. Rational Frontier. I'll link the video again when I'm not being dumb.
Before I go, just before I go, can I like use the part of the stream in which I was as a video?
Yeah, dude. Again, not. I'm an anarcho-objectivist, not a fucking Randroid. I don't believe in IP. Use that shit.
Okay. Thank you. See you.
All right, brother.
And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right.